the Mississippi River, the wild and scenic St. Croix River, the Minnesota River, not to mention habitat, ecology, tourism, and the economy, would all be impacted if invasive carp are able to gain a foothold in Minnesota. The Senate Environment Committee held an informational hearing this week to review the state's options.
From my perspective, today's question is really very simple. Does the state of Minnesota want to step up and do something and stop these carp or not? We're at the point where there's no plan B. There is a plan A. I'll talk about it today. It's not perfect. It's feasible. It's possible. It has a great chance of succeeding. To not act is a choice in and of itself, because if they do start reproducing, which could happen almost at any time, given the numbers in Minnesota waters, there are no options to control them except removal. And this is what's happening in the Illinois River right now at the cost of a couple $2 million a year, and it's not controlling them, it's just keeping them status quo. This is the only plan on the table. And once they get past Lock and Dam 5, I don't know what options you have. No one has any options anywhere other than to hire commercial fishermen for a few $1 million to remove fish and make fertilizer out of them at great cost.
So we have folks that have never experienced the riverway coming out and really enjoying our national treasure. All that will stop if the carp actually get here. So I really implore you to heed the warning that the others have laid out on the table and protect our nation's first wild and scenic national park.
Minnesota DNR is absolutely committed to invasive carp prevention and management, and we are very supportive of finding new solutions to manage invasive carp. And we're really grateful for our robust partnerships we have with folks in the room today. And we want to continue to review potential solutions with all of these partners, including Lock and Dam number 5, because I think we all just want to find the best solution for Minnesota.
Joining me now in the studio is the chair of the Senate Environment and Natural Resources Finance Committee, Senator Bill Ingebrigtsen. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
What prompted you to convene a hearing on invasive carp?
Well, I just read another article in the, and I forget what article it was in the Tribune or someplace, that there was another carp found getting closer and closer to the state of Minnesota, and the groups are becoming more concerned, and being part of this process back in 2011 when Governor Dayton first had an actual carp summit. It was very clear that at that time people were concerned about these flying carp coming up and getting into our lakes and waters in Minnesota, and what kind of devastation that they would do. And then it seemed to kind of go off to the side, and nobody's been paying a whole lot of attention to it. The DNR has been monitoring it, doing this and that. We expended, I think, $5 million from the Legacy Committee to have Dr. Peter Sorensen, a fish specialist, to do the research as to how to prevent them from coming to Minnesota instead of just managing them when they get here. And that has finally now come to an end. There can be no more science, at least that's what's been said, and we need to move forward.
Speaking of Dr. Peter Sorensen, he said Minnesota is almost a bubble in that surrounding states do have the carp infesting their waterways, but not quite Minnesota. If it were to gain a foothold in Minnesota, what would be the impact?
Well, I think it would be terrible. It would be a financial impact on the recreation. Obviously, the testifiers, the more scientists even said, and Peter Sorensen himself said, the fisheries would be affected. I mean, these are huge things for Minnesota. Where Minnesota is known as a jewel when it comes to lakes, waters, and streams, recreation, fishing, and if these flying carp, who can actually come out of the water 6 to 9 feet, when agitated, it becomes not only does it hurt the ecology of the river, it's a public safety issue. We have the most boats in the country, and people that will be boating will in the worst case scenario have to wear helmets. My goodness, we can do something about this, and we need to do it now.
You mentioned that the Department of Natural Resources has been monitoring carp since about 2012. They've contracted with commercial fishers to help manage them, to capture some of them. In your view, have the DNR's efforts thus far been adequate?
No, I don't think they have. I think if it's been a funding situation, then I guess we need to address that. They need to come to the legislature with with a little more of a serious face, if you will. This year's governor's budget did not include this. So I'm not sure that the DNR is conveying to the administration what this could potentially turn into if we don't deal with it. And now with a surplus that we do have, it seems like it's certainly the time to go ahead and do this. The cost of it is, fairly expensive, but at the same time, when you start talking about property damage, property going down and devaluating through counties along the river and getting into our lakes and streams, it's pennies compared to what we can lose. So we need to move. We need to move quick.
Testifiers at today's hearing said that Minnesota faces a choice. We can stop them now, and there's a proposal we'll talk about in a moment, or we can spend lots of dollars managing them in the future, pointing out that once the fish becomes established, it cannot be eradicated. Is the situation this dire? I
think it is, and if you think back of the invasive species that we are now monitoring, trying to control, whether the zebra mussel, curly leaf pondweed, milfoil, and now there's another terrible one coming. It's called a starry stonewort. By not dealing with it head on immediately right away, we end up spending tons and tons of money, millions of dollars, lake associations, cities, counties, on all this, trying to maintain and trying to hold it back. We have an opportunity here to stop one of the most devastating invasive species. We should step up and do it right now.
So the proposal that the committee heard today would modify Lock and Dam number 5, which is near Lake Pepin. It was testified that this is an ideal location, and it would also include the installation of a bioacoustic fish fence to stop the invasive carp from being able to move any further north. What are your thoughts on this approach?
I like it. I like it. The engineering has been already accomplished with the dollars that have been expended. The sound barrier, the barrier that actually has been now tested and working. It works in I believe it's the state is Kentucky right now. They're just now starting to put together some statistics on how well it's working. But nevertheless, we don't have time. The scientist that's been working on this for years, and he's a renowned fish scientist, Dr. Peter Sorensen from the University of Minnesota, says there is no more science. We don't have to do any more research. The research is done. Something has to be done now, or we will be infested before long.
Governor Walz has said on more than one occasion that he is in favor of a special session, maybe yet this year, to do something with that $9 billion surplus that the state still has. If there were to be a special session, would you try to garner some funding for this proposal to solidify Lock and Dam number 5 and prevent, hopefully, carp from getting any further north?
You know, I would. And there's talk about, well, who's going to pay for it? Is it going to be Minnesota? Is it going to be Wisconsin? Is it going to be the federal government? You know, quite frankly, I don't care who pays for it. It all comes out of the same pocket at one time or another. We need to get it done. If we have to collect some money, put the hand out afterwards to do that, we'll go right ahead and do that. I'm a little taken back that the governor hasn't taken this a little more serious and asked for it in his budget. He did not ask for this particular situation, you know, for funding in the budget. But yes, if it comes down to a special session, and we know this is my last one, or this is my last year, I will definitely ask. In fact, I'm going to follow up with the governor and the governor's office, as well as the DNR commissioner, and get together and meet with these people and get this moving forward. You can't just, okay, we had another meeting now and we're not going to do anything. This has to be done.
Well, and to that end, Senator Scott Dibble, who sits on the committee and is a member of the DFL party, was also in favor of this. He
yes,
indicated that everybody should work together on this.
Yeah, he knows prevention, and I agree with him 100%. Prevention is better than reacting after something has happened, and then it's just controlling, trying to control. And these things aren't going to be controllable. They're going to rot our whole system, and we just don't want that.
Now, you mentioned that this is your last year,
yeah.
And so I've got you in the hot seat, and I get to ask you. Just a retrospective, you were elected to the Minnesota Senate in 2006, following a career in law enforcement that included your position as Douglas County Sheriff for, I think, 16 years. You have devoted your adult life to service. And so as you prepare for this next step, when you look back on your Senate career, what will you be proud of? What will you remember fondly?
Well, I think politically I will remember the fact that being a Republican, that the Republican was the Senate had been controlled by the Democrats for over 40 years. And in starting my second term in the Senate, we actually took control for the first time, was 11 and 12. Then we lost it again for 4 years, and then we've had it back and forth. So of the 16 years that I have been in the Senate, the Republicans have been in control of the Senate, which is quite a trend, it's quite a change. So I can be part of that, what I think is success when it comes to politics, in Minnesota especially. But as far as what have I done and accomplished, sometimes you think back of what are the things that I feel, at least in my district, that I have stopped from happening, whether it be a $10 million amendment that made no sense whatsoever to me, being part of the process of stopping that, or something as simple as this last session when I was able to do something for special needs people, to actually get them to get the vaccination quicker, because I do have a 63-year-old brother-in-law that lives with me that's Down syndrome, and it just seemed right that those folks should be concluded with the people that were at high risk, because they are at high risk. And to be able to move that along, that kind of thing is very rewarding to me. And then of course my public safety career, being part of that, and being here to advise like we do as a citizen legislature, it's been just nothing but a true honor.
Senator Bill Ingebrigtsen, it has been an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.